We might be extremely close to AGI now. Claude Mythos. I mean, just look at the name. This sounds like Kratos calling Zeus. Claude Mythos just got released last week and the whole market has been disrupted. What was Claude Mythos and why Anthropic won't let you have your sweet hands on that model? So, an Anthropic client with zero cybersecurity information and knowledge tried to ask Mythos to debug and to find some security breaches in some really good, safe software. And he slept and woke up to it actually showcasing the user a lot many vulnerabilities that might have skipped through the reviewers from really long years. That's the kind of model Anthropic announced on April 7th. It found zero-day vulnerabilities in every major operating system, fully autonomously, no human guidance needed. So let's speak about what Mythos actually found as vulnerabilities and talk about them a bit. Over a few weeks of testing, it found numerous and thousands of zero-day vulnerabilities, out of which some of them are. It found a 27-year-old vulnerability in OpenBSD, an operating system famous for being one of the most security hardened in the world, used to run firewalls and critical infrastructure. I mean, just think about this idea. Moving on to the second one, 16-year-old vulnerability in our famous FMPEG software, the video encoding one. Yes, we all have used it, and countless of other applications as well. Automated testing tools had hit that specific line of code 5 million times without catching any problem. So think about it. The test scripts that we have and the unit tests that we run couldn't actually find those vulnerabilities, but Mythos did within lesser lines of code, just like $1,000 budget and nothing more than that. But let's see what the famous companies have to say about it. And before we move on, let me tell you which all companies have the hands on this model. Anthropic gave this model to Apple, Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, CrowdStrike, JP Morgan Chase, Cisco, Broadcom, Palo Alto Networks, and Linux Foundation, and other 40 other foundations which actually are dealing with some really good security softwares. But before we move on to what JP Morgan has to say about all of the situation, let's see what happened around the time of April 7th when Mythos was actually released. The stocks of these security breaching companies went absolutely crushing down, and one of the examples is Palo Alto's stocks. It went down so drastically that market screener says that this happened because of some premature decisions that people thought. Now, since Claude Mythos might be able to find some really good security breaches and all of these things, people thought that this might be an end to all of these software systems. But in reality, Anthropic said that Mythos will be integrated into the security policies. So it is entirely different, and the game is going in a very different direction actually. Speaking of what Jamie Dimon has to say about Anthropic's Mythos reveals a lot more vulnerabilities for cyber attacks. Jamie on Tuesday said while artificial intelligence tools could actually help companies defend themselves from cyber attacks, it is the one who creates those attacks in the very first place. And this reminds me of a very funny joke that the antivirus companies are the ones who actually release the viruses in the first place so that we could purchase them off. But here I would align with Jamie at a specific extent, because think about this. We know the amount of code, let's just say Devin is writing right now, and I'm working at a place where I know Devin is writing shit ton of code, but all of that code is also really shit, and we have to go through a lot of iterations of back and forth so that we could finally settle on to it. So I get it, Mythos is finding a lot many security vulnerabilities, but at the same time we have to understand the code that is being reviewed by Mythos was written by Anthropic's Claude 4.6 on the very first hand. It does create additional vulnerabilities and maybe down the road better ways to strengthen yourself too. And if we need to understand him even more, right, he's trying to say it shows a lot more vulnerabilities need to be fixed, and maybe all of those things were working perfectly in the very first go. Maybe all of those things didn't need to get fixed. Maybe a couple of more renders in their softwares if they're using React was fine, but now Mythos tries to reach to a certain pinnacle so that every kind of standard could be maintained. But I personally feel like sometimes the software, if it just works, let it work. Mythos is moving in a different direction. It's like a senior manager you never want. Jamie also says a lot of it is hygiene. How do you actually protect your data? The traditional methods of cybersecurity that were implemented to protect your data in the first place, that is the actual stick and hammer, are still being used. Those are still the practices that we need to follow. Let's not get scared about any of it again. Mythos is not going to be released to the general public anytime soon, and possibly even when this is being released to the big corps like FANGs or MANGs, we have to understand all of these information that we're speaking of would be just available at a very higher cost, and also would be just available for majorly security purposes. So people who are in cybersecurity, I guess this is your time to put your hands into understanding what Mythos can do better. It is also very concerning because quantum computing is also at its verge to becoming a reality now. So combining a quantum computer's qubit with Claude Mythos, I think we're just gonna be having a really big cybersecurity crash real soon. And that'll be my time, folks. I'll see you in the next one. And that was Daily Dose of Tech.